All right, where's my peeps at? Let me know that you guys can hear it. I had to run upstairs. That's why I was like 30 seconds late. I had to run upstairs and grab the little attachment to attach my little microphone thing there. Does everybody hear the sound? Is everything good? Show of hands. Come on. Nice to see you made it back, Tiffany. Oh, that's good. My mail is telling me that that I'm going live. Any of you guys hear me? Am I just sitting here by myself looking like more of a fool than I normally am? Wonderful. Thank you, Tiffany. So I have no idea how many people are here. It says only 5 people here right now. So I'm assuming out of those 5, we got James and we've got the lovely sister from down under, and Thailand Taylor's here. That's wonderful. So now I haven't gone live for a long time. You guys have known all the chaos that's been going on. We're trying something a little bit new tonight. I can actually move around. I'm in the fish room. I've got this giant jerry rig set up right now. You're on kind of a weird bookshelf type thing with my laptop way up high. But I thought it'd be nice to kind of, the whole purpose of redoing this room, this lair, was to get it to the point that I could actually do the live feeds in it. And then when we start the big tank, and we got to talk about that, eventually down the road, that'll be my backdrop, will be the 12-foot aquarium. So, but for now, this is what we kind of got. This is what we want to start with. James is here, Atkins Nature Aquarium, whole bunch of people here. Wonderful. So, as I said, I haven't gone live in a long time. It's just been absolutely too chaotic. I took on this big, massive challenge of doing the room. We're making progress. I know right now with the updates, so I think we're update number 6. It looks like it stopped, and it kind of has. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Not going to sugarcoat it. Kind of truthfully, that's exactly where it's at. Directly on there in front of me on the ground is the other 6-foot aquarium. And all the styrofoam and all the accoutrements to be able to do what I want to do is here. And it's just been a matter of time and the patience to be able to do it. Like the stand is there. The stand's right here. The stand's got a few other aquariums and things on it right now. Temporarily, I can move. But the tank, everything's here ready to go. But with that project in particular, I want to be meticulous. I want to be detailed oriented. And I want to do it step by step for you guys. So until I can have that moment in time where I could really dedicate the time to doing that project the way that I would expect it to be done, it's just kind of put on hold. I'm doing all sorts of other stuff in the background. You guys can see all these things behind me. Almost all of them are filled except for the one bottom spot there. And that one bottom spot, the critter for it's actually right up here. It came in a little bit larger, and I haven't been able to get her really ready and done because I ran out of tanks. I'm not out of tanks. I got them out there. But I got to build a background. I got to clean the tank. I got to change the lids and everything like that. So there's a whole bunch of work that's got to happen to that. But all this cool stuff is coming up in videos and stuff. And I know most of you follow me for fish. Just bear with me. There's tons and tons of really cool fish stuff coming up. In a bit, I'll kind of give you a rundown of some of the topics and some of the ideas of things that I'm working on or things that are started and just haven't been finished. But we're in spring mode here. I know Chris Taylor's in Canada. Hi, Denise. Lovely that you're here, Denise. We're going to be talking this week. I read the email. Absolutely love it, Denise. I am fully on board. It's something we're going to talk about tonight a little bit as well. But I'm not going to give you all the details because some of this stuff is secret. So what else we got? So basically we're in full spring mode. And what that means for me, for most people, spring just means spring. But a yard cleanup, that sort of stuff. For us, with the farm outside, it means a massive amount of work. And it has to happen very, very fast, meaning that all the stuff, all the cleanup, all the waste products from the animals, everything that's left out there, all the piles of hay and straw and whatnot, that all has to be stripped off the fields as fast as possible so that the field can grow, which is the food source for all those animals as we go into the spring. So we've been working really, really hard. And like today was 21 degrees Celsius. Now, if you're in the States, that's, you're on the Fahrenheit scale. 21 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius is kind of what average people up here would keep their room temperature of their homes at 19 to 20 degrees Celsius. So 21 degrees Celsius outside was absolutely treasureful day. It was great. I was out in shorts doing the animals tonight, shorts and shirts and everything like that. It was absolutely awesome. So, but we're getting there. There's going to be one of the videos coming up is going to be a farm update. Now, I know I did mention earlier on, I think it was in January, about making a bunch of changes. And I am making a bunch of changes, as you guys have seen a lot of the changes. But the taking the farm stuff off and starting an entire new farm channel, unless I had my whole family involved, is just not something that's realistic. So I know I will not be putting out a pile of farm videos, but I think I do got to put out some. And because I do have a fairly, granted, my following may still be small. We're at almost 5,000 subs, and I'm absolutely blown away by that. I'm still blown away that 10 of you follow me, but the fact that I've got that many, I'm absolutely honored for each and every one of you to be here with me on this journey. But there are still some that when I've stopped putting out the farm videos, I see comments about it periodically that they really miss the farm stuff. And I'm like, okay, so we'll do some farm stuff. And actually, there's a lot of really big changes have happened in the farm this year. Really big changes. And I don't know if they're changes I've ever alluded to. But basically, 3, possibly 5 animals are going, and 3 new animals have come already. Only 1 has gone left so far, but 3 new ones have arrived, and it caused for all sorts of chaos. But that's what we're used to doing. It's always chaotic when we do stuff. So I'm going to just quickly check, because you guys know when I do these entirely by myself, and the screen, I'm old. The screen's about 10 feet. Joshy's here. Suleiman, how do I read it? Suleiman, Canisto Valley Cichlids, Atkins, I think I got everybody. It's a mixed exotic room now, animal now. Well, I don't know if that's really, really true. I got to address that, because you guys know my primary interest is in fish. It always has been. It's mostly in fish, but more in fish sciences, botany, my May the Plants Be With You shirt. That's part of one of the things. You guys go check out the stuff, or get yourself a May the Fish Be With You, stickers, shirts, whatever you want. That's all stuff you can buy if you want it on at the Teespring shop or whatever. You go to the top of my YouTube page, there's a little link there if you want it. Great, love it. It's great that you guys in the States can buy it and have it shipped. You guys have no concept of how expensive this stuff is with a Canadian currency to buy an American product and have it shipped. It's insane. So anybody in Canada that's bought any of my merchandise, thank you deeply from the heart, because I know how absolutely painful it must be to get it from you. I also put the 3 major designs, the Isopods, the plants, and the fish one, on Redbubble, which is a global site, but it's based out of Australia for my Australian people down there. So if you guys are interested, great, check it out. If you're not, no hard feelings. It's all good. I like it. Okay. Now, when we talk about the mixed exotic plant or mixed exotic groups, there's going to be terrariums, there's going to be vivariums, there's going to be animals. There are animals in that one there. There's actually animals in all of these ones right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 animals over there. Down below me, there's 2 giant vivariums. You can't see them. They're empty right now other than plants. There's animals expected for them. All those things that are on top of this tank, there's all critters in there. And actually, the bulk of them are still out there. They're out there on the bookshelves, because I don't really have a spot for them yet. I wanted to set up display ones in certain spots, and then I wanted to set up other ones in a rack that I haven't even built yet and don't even have plans for it until the other 2 projects get built first. But when we talk about exotic pets, you guys know me for the isopods. I absolutely love my isopods. But when it comes to all the other invertebrates, they got to have something. It's not just, I'm not just sitting there going, oh, it's a butterfly, oh, it's a moth, it's a fly, it's an ant. It's got to have some sort of element of danger or violence or something to it. With the background with the venomous snakes and all that sort of stuff, it was just kind of a logical progression. And a lot of this stuff is not necessarily new to me. It's just there was ways and means that I can incorporate it into what I'm doing right now, expanding my interest with you guys. Some of you guys like it, some of you don't. Joshy's here. Cichlid Dojo, Zenon, fellow Canadian, how you doing? I finally found some Nicaraguensis cichlids. He's so happy to have one in my cichlid collection. He's still small, but a very cool fish. Thanks you for showing him to us. They're an awesome, awesome fish. There's a whole bunch of them still behind me here. They're freaked out a little bit because there's 1, 2, 3. I still have all 10 or 11 of them. They're all still there. I have not put this tank on the automatic water changer system yet, so it's like I'm a primitive caveman. I have to do it by myself manually with a gravel cleaner and a hose. But the 180-gallon tank's just behind that wall. It's going to be moving, as I've shown you before. But I think what I want to do is I don't want to put it onto a fully automated system, even though it would be beneficial, because I don't want to use well water. and I don't want to use RO water straight. I have to mix it and manufacture the water and buffer it for this tank. And the RO water, when I make it, the 5 or so aquariums that are going to be in this area are all going to be vastly different water chemistry. So I cannot go and have hard Mesoamerican, Central American water in this one, and then in my planted aquarium, straight RO, and then in this tank, real soft. It's just not doable. So I'm just going to have to figure out what's going to work best for me. But my once a week, twice a week, I do a small water change. Once the world kind of comes back to normal and I start going back on the road as a sales rep traveling all the time, well, then that might have to make an adjustment for these type of big tanks. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. 23 in Australia, 23 sales. Yeah, so you guys know what we're doing. Yeah, I saw you got snows then, and I feel absolutely terrible for you. That's hilarious. Oh, it's all good. So one of the things I have to say off the top, right off the absolute top, I know we're already about 10, 15 minutes in, but you know how I am. Biggs likes to ramble. I really have to do a shout out. I have a certain group of people that have been here since the beginning, and I've got actually about 6 or 7 of them have become channel members. Now, I mentioned, I think in my last live feed, that I totally screwed up. Biggs is not a tech guy whatsoever. He'll even try to prime the canister filter sometimes is challenging for me. But if it's not science type stuff, it's challenging. So, but whatever. But when I set it up, when I set up the channel memberships, the information that I put in there, the levels and all that stuff was actually supposed to be in Patreon. And then the membership one was just supposed to be a flat level with the benefits and stuff. And that was it. And then I launched it. And all of a sudden there was boom. There's people signing up and everything. And I'm like, ooh. And there's things in there like I know there's a couple of guys on there. I'm just going to name them right now because these people have been there right from the get-go for me with this. And I from the heart, thank you very, very much. Jason Millwood, Geofish Dude, Ryan Hinther, Carrie the Crazy Fish Lady, and Jason, my brother from down under, Total Tropical TV. And that guy's been helping me since day one. And he's in a world of hurt right now in Australia, trying to get housing and stuff like that. With all the stuff going on, his house that he was in was being sold or rented. All his aquariums, he just finished setting them up. He's just had a very, very stressful time. So my heart goes out to him. I think of him every day. And anybody that goes in those types of situations, I think about him. So thank you very much, each and every one of you. Now, there are a couple on that list that I kind of owe you guys stuff, but I don't know how to reach out to you. So, Ryan, you might be one of them. Mary's probably one of them. And I think Geofish Dude's probably one of them. I got all this stuff here, but I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to reach people through YouTube. So if you're one of you guys are on my Facebook page, on my personal page, or on my Chris the Mad Aquarist page, you can find me on Facebook that way. Or in one of the comments in one of the videos, let me have some note that I can figure out how we can get in touch with each other. I'd love to be able to do that. Down the road, I think we'll probably, if you guys are all in the group, we'll probably do a switch. We'll probably switch it over. But I don't want to go and change something that, if people want to support me and they go based on those benefits and then I yank the benefits away, it kind of defeats the purpose of doing it. So maybe I'll send a private thing with you guys. We'll do it somewhere there. So, but bottom line, from my heart, thank you guys, each and every one of you. So what else is coming up? Well, I'm not kidding. I've probably got 20, 21, 22 videos. They're not videos yet. They're mostly filmed. I might have to do a bit of narration, but it comes down to really doing that creative editing process of actually fleshing out and putting them all together. So I've got lots and lots of content, and there's tons and tons of stuff. I can tell you what the video that was. Okay, before I even go there, I get it. Most of you don't like tarantulas. I can tell by the video that came out on the Panama Blonde. Came out, yesterday? It had like 50 views or something. You guys suck. Just turn it on at work and turn the sound off. Don't tell anybody. And then go and give me a thumbs up afterwards, you bunch of jerks. That's all you got to do. You don't like tarantulas. Biggs likes tarantulas. You should like tarantulas. It's just cool stuff. It's nature. Enjoy it. You're still going to get more tarantula videos, just saying. But the video that was supposed to come out, like that tarantula video, is that tank right there. And that animal's been here for like 4 months. It's just those ones there. I get so much of those type of critter type videos ready to go. And it's like, oh, I just got to kind of leave it. Just kind of got to leave it. And because people want fish videos. So I got to do fish video, and then I can throw in something, isopods or plants or terrariums or snake or lizard or something weird. And I got to go do another fish one to keep you guys all interested. So and that's cool, and I'm having fun with it. But some of those ones, they just got to sit there forever, and that was one of them. But the video that was supposed to come out is now coming out on Sunday. And the only reason there was the change mix-up is I thought I had scheduled my times differently. Now, you might have noticed, you may not, I don't really know if you did or not, but I did change the days that my videos are being released. They were always, since I started, they've always come out at, I can't remember what time, but they always used to come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think it was around 11 in the morning or something like that. No, raid will not help, Mr. Taylor. But I've switched it from those days to Wednesday and Sunday. And originally I was at 3:30, but I just thought, no, I'm going to do a little bit earlier. Some people may come home from church or whatever. Sunday, I don't want to leave it too late. So I put them on at 1:30. And we'll just kind of ride it out. I'm not an individual that really, honestly, I don't look at any analytics or anything. I really have no concept of what I'm doing. You guys can clearly tell that just by looking at me. You know, so it is what it is. I'm having fun. We're doing it. We're doing good. And we're still growing. And that's when the videos are coming out. And when I had the video that I was working on that I wanted to release on Wednesday was a bit more time sensitive due to what the content was and why. It actually is going to be pushed back because I didn't get it finished till 2:15. And I went to go and load it and load it for today and put it at the hour of 3:30, which I thought they were at. And the other video was already live. And normally I would just say, I'll just release 2 videos today. But because the whole fish room is torn apart still, and I've got very limited things that I can film, I'll be damned if I'm going to let 2 videos go in 1 week when I'm so under the gun to try and keep the content rolling for you guys. Until all the tags are set up, then after that, it's game on. We can release a video every day if it happens, if we got extra content. But the video that's coming out on Sunday is actually a reaction video. It's something I've never done before, but I felt really compelled to do it. Now, it's not a reaction video that most people would assume with a reaction video. It's like some guy was being a real jerk and everybody wants to call him out and lambaste him on YouTube. That's not me at all. I did actually call in a couple of experts. I had a professional military special forces fighter, and had to be pulled out. And he had to pull out at the last minute. And I do have the other person that is the expert. The first expert that I approached is actually an individual that works in the industry with this animal in particular. And I'm not really telling you what it is, but there was a viral video that came out earlier this week. And there's a few you might already guess what it's about. And the whole concept of it looked shocking, which is why it was done. But it was all completely fake. It was a stunt strictly for views. It's a massive YouTube channel. And I have no disrespect for the individual for doing it. I understand the pressure when your channels get bigger and bigger and bigger. People want to see people fall down the stairs or get hit by a car or get eaten by an alligator. Like me keeping all this dangerous stuff. If I put out videos of me getting bit by this stuff, my views would skyrocket. But that's just not me. That's not the message. It has to be educational. It has to have some science aspect to it and so forth. So the video that came out in question, when you guys see it on Sunday, you'll understand. And hopefully I gave it its due justice, and hopefully by bringing in certain experts, you'll understand the point behind it. It was more just on a call out that it was reckless behavior, in my opinion. So good video. Here's what it is. Other than that, what else is coming up? As I mentioned, a farm update. I do have an update this past week and the week before, well, honestly, since it started. This whole thing with the zebra mussels, I never did put out a video about zebra mussels at the beginning. And for anybody that's outside of North America that doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'll just give you the quick skinny. These the cladiophora are the algae moss balls, the marimino moss balls that you get in. They're harvested in really, really cold water, generally in the Ukraine or the Czech Republic or Russia. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, it went through social media really quickly that they found these balls had zebra mussels in them, which is a completely non-endemic type of little bivalve mussel. It's a filtering feeder like a clam, and they're small, but they multiply at an incredible rate, and they have an absolutely devastating effect on infrastructure. We have them in my province already in the largest lake, in Lake Winnipeg, which is like the 9th or 11th largest body of fresh water in the world. It's like the size of Malawi. It's a huge lake, and these things have decimated the beautiful sandy beaches, and the beaches now look like crushed glass. But these things look like they grow like barnacles on everything. They crush docks and infrastructure. They cost countries millions and millions of dollars. So it's a big, big deal with this invasive species. But I was in the forefront with all this stuff that was happening. So I didn't want to release a video right away because I saw so many of them coming out. I thought, I don't need to jump on that bandwagon. It is what it is. Everyone's panicking. Everyone's trying to give what they got. Yes, if anyone wants the Mad Aquarist, it's just Mad Aquarist Teespring. That's all it is, yes. Or Red Bubble. I personally like Red Bubble better for their service. I don't know if one's better or another, anything like that. I don't know. I've never sold anything on Redbubble, but I've bought a lot of shirts. Some of the Isopods shirts I've worn and some of the different weird shirts that I've worn that you guys see in my videos and comment on, they've all come from Redbubble. So where we get with the zebra mussels thing. So I actually have called in. I've spoken federally and I've spoken provincially with all the different aspects of levels of government in regards to this. I've been working with several stores in Western Canada, large chains and stuff, in how to cope and deal with the strategies in dealing with this. And I had several phone calls the past couple of weeks that talked about why it was important, why the eradication methods that they were suggesting were the approved methods, why they went that route instead of this route, why the legal aspects in Canada, how they applied to it. So I do plan on doing a quick video on that, but it's one that I literally have to sit down, let my mind kind of free, organize the thoughts, and then just go and do it. It's not something I can really run down and rehearse with a bunch of videos and audio-visual supplements and stuff like that. There just isn't. But there is a link. I did do a video on zebra mussels along with one of my pond updates a year or two ago. It's in my channel. If somebody wants to find it, they're more than welcome to. And it was basically give you an idea of how bad they are, because I took you to the area of Lake Winnipeg and you saw them. The panda gara in my tank are going at it again. So I thought I'd do a quick video of that. I know Carrie the crazy fish lady had talked about that. I don't have any video of any of the breeding, but I do have video of all the infrastructure and stuff like that I would like to be able to put out for on people how to work with the panda gara, which is a Gara flaviptera. It's a beautiful, beautiful algae eater. It's an incredible community fish. It's fast, it's active, it's colorful. It's got everything that's desirable. I see Rustic Bee. That is a former coworker, a wonderful lady. I'm sure her and her daughter just got an aquarium. And I'm just going to thank you for joining with us, Wendy. And Ryan, I see you there, but I did, and I apologize, I did see, and I didn't acknowledge it at the time because Biggs was ranting, Jim Sheasley from Cleveland. Thank you very kindly for the super chat, Jim. It is very, very much appreciated for $5. I see KG Aquatics is here. Nice to see you guys. If I miss some, guys, feel free. You can put it all in caps, yell at me, whatever you got to do. Catch Biggs's eye. Look at all these people here. I'm honored, my friends. This is absolutely wonderful. So what else is coming up? I know what's coming up. I got something real excited in the works right now, and it's going to snowball. Now, I called in some favors with a bunch of friends. I have my friend Chris Taylor. He's here. He gave me a gift a few years ago of a little tiny yellow box. And I said, I got to do something with that. And I've been waiting the right time to do that. And I think spring is the perfect time to do it. And you guys will understand what I talk about. I'm not going to tell you anything more about the little box. He's literally the only person that knows what it is. But this little yellow box is something pretty cool. It's something utterly stupid, but it's going to come up. It's going to happen. But in a week or two, I'm going to be heading to go and play with some rattlesnakes, hopefully. So I'm really, 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 really excited. Can you tell? Super excited to be going out and playing with some rattlesnakes. It's been a long, long time coming. I planned to go last year, and then the whole world kind of shit the bed. And now I'm ready to go. So we're going to go and do that. And with that, that means I figure I should start putting out some of the videos in the stuff that I've talked about before about my aspects of a lot of my education in dealing with venom, venomous animals, venom protocols, snake bites, those type of things. So I think there's going to be a few videos and things like that that might involve around that topic, because that's really my only background, is working in crotalids, which is the rattlesnakes. We're going to have a whole bunch of different critters, a whole bunch of new videos on new critters. There's one, two, I don't even want to count. There's far too many. I'm going to say there's probably 3 or 4 dozen new inhabitants in this room. And that's not including like the box of crickets. That's have several hundred in there. I'm talking all the other stuff. So there's lots and lots and lots of stuff. And it's not all super, ooh, creepy. I don't ever want to see that again. I'm going to unsubscribe. No, it's not all like that. Some, yes, but not all. So lots of new enclosures, bioactive enclosures, critters. Very exciting. A good buddy of mine owns the tropical fish wholesaler here in Winnipeg, where I've gotten a lot of my stuff and everything like that. He's now acquired 2 major lines, product lines from Europe. And one of them was the first time it's ever been in Canada. And in that product line, there was an offering of a really unique test kit. And I was like, that's super cool. And I bought one and I brought it home and I did the whole video on it and everything like that. And I put it out and the title was Game Changer. And it's been sitting there as a fish video in between all the other random stuff, ready to go for about 2 weeks. And then Rachel O'Leary goes and puts out a video called Game Changer on this API, super huge, crazy deluxe, ultra pet store type automatic, looks like a centrifuge water testing station thing. I know the guy at Reef to Rift had one. It was several $100s for this thing, but the readout it gave you was insane. And Rachel's video was awesome about it, stuff like that. But I'm like, I ain't putting mine out after that one. So that one's kind of got pushed back a couple of weeks, but it's still a game changer. We'll just call it the economy game changer. So that's coming up. I could, if you guys are interested in like product reviews and stuff like that, I don't know if that's something that anybody's ever has any interest to it. I would go more into like the science side of it and like the aspects. I have an interview tentatively set up. I was just chatting with the individual this morning. He's ready to go whenever we want, talking about fish nutrition, but going into fish nutrition really from the background side as to how important it is and what constitutes fish nutrition, not just, oh yeah, bugs are good, protein's good. No, like real detailed type stuff about nutrition and how he goes about formulating. This guy's been in the industry for a long time, and how to formulate a proper, well-balanced fish food. So that one's coming up. I just got to find time to sit down and do the video and everything with him. So that one's coming. I have one I'm super excited about is, it's one I've been working on. Honestly, I did a video with this individual. She is an incredible fish veterinarian. Yes, fish veterinarian is her specialty. She could do all the other stuff, but her main focus is in Piscine veterinary medicine, fish medicine. And she's agreed to do a series with me. And I said, I want to tackle aspects of individual fish diseases, fish parasites, and things like that are afflicting hobbyists. But I want to attack it in the way that I would, in kind of that science aspect of really what it is, and then how, as an aquarist, can we work with this? Because globally, we have different restrictions. In Canada, you can't buy any antibiotics, you can't do this, you can't do that. In the US, I notice a lot of that stuff is starting to change for you guys as well. In Europe, it's been that way for a long time, but at least they have access through methods of acquiring it. In Canada, they just said no, and then everybody was like, what do we do now? So she's agreed, and she's actually just today sent me the first kind of idea, and I read through it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. So that's a matter of us just sitting down and filming them, but I'd like to kind of do and dedicate that one to its own separate playlist with this absolutely world-renowned expert. So I'm very, very stoked about that. Fish room updates, I kind of gave you the rundown of what's happening on that. There are still coming. It's just there's not as much fish update until that background gets done. Once that background gets done, everything moves and changes really, really quick. So that's coming. Big tank. That's the one everybody's waiting on. Right now, you guys don't even know what I'm talking about. But the big tank was the project that's going to happen after this room is done. And as much as I say we're getting there, there's probably 2,000 more jobs to still do in here. They might be small jobs, but there's lots and lots of little things to do. Once the big tank gets done and moved into its position, I still got to build the big surrounds around each of these tanks and enclose them in. I got to build the racks for all the smaller things. I've got to build the planted tank with the boxes behind it. I got to build the boxes to house all the special lighting for the tropical plants that are on the wall behind it. There's just so much stuff to build and do. But once all that is done, I apologize if you guys are hearing the dings. I'm seeing little things pop up on my screen. Apparently, there's a large fire close to us. I don't know what that exactly means. My wife has not come running down the stairs yet to tell me that we got to go. So if she does, I might have to go. But until then, we're going to sit here and drink. I'm only drinking water tonight. I don't know what you guys are drinking. I had a kind of a rough morning this morning. Not from drinking. I just wasn't myself, wasn't feeling well. And it kind of put me on my butt for a little bit. And by midday, I was kind of good and doing stuff. It was good. So now I'm just drinking water, feeling good. When's Dana Allen's other video coming out? I don't know what you mean by that, Les. Dana Allen is my dear friend from Saskatoon. We did 2 videos with Dana. We did one on his big tank, and then we did one on Madagascar cichlids, but I haven't done one since. Kevin from Tangled Up, nice to see you. Jim, come on. You already did that once, man. Thanks, dude. That's very cool. Honestly, very much appreciated. Hope I spelled the name right. Haley's here. Lovely to see Haley. You guys make sure if you haven't checked out Oddball Aquatics, she's a wonderful woman. She actually inspired me to do a video and almost entirely on her about being just an incredibly passionate aquarist and what inspires us. So it's great to see a lot of people here. So the big tank, getting back to that, I got distracted with the whole that I might be in a fire. But the big tank, out of the blue, my dear friend Ray, you've never seen him on camera, but, I forgot that video. I'm putting together a video called Operation Wolf. You guys won't know what that means whatsoever, but it's basically, it dates back. I'll have very little video of it because we never filmed video back then. It's about 2010 when we went down to a fish farm to help eradicate Parachromis dovii, the wolf cichlid, from his farm, knowing full well it wasn't going to go well. But we had an absolute blast, and my dear friend Ray was there. Well, my dear friend Ray called me up the other day, and if you're in the crowd here, Ray, thank you for joining us. He hasn't said anything, but Ray got his first shot today or yesterday, and he's not feeling very good. I get my first vaccine, the first dose, on May 7th. They finally have started lowering the thing down, and they lowered it down, and I booked it right away, and that was the earliest appointment I can get. So I know in the States it's available to absolutely everybody. In Canada, though, it's a bit crazy for people trying to get it. So I go on the 7th. I can see the messages, there's smoke and everything like that. But again, we're going to keep going. She hasn't come down to tell me anything's wrong. Maybe I'll have to get out there and ride Chewy out to freedom. We'll see. So, big tank. Ray phones me up out of the blue on April 1st. April 1st, you know what date is. And he says, I got a deal for you if you still want it. I go, I always want a deal. What's the deal? He found me a price on plywood. Now, in the States, I'm sure you guys have seen some of the videos. Hey, Wally, nice for seeing you here. And out of the price of plywood is through the roof. Even OSB, construction OSB, like I see them on Marketplace, things that should cost $14 selling for $50 to $75. All the scrap wood scalpers, if lack of a better word, are out there trying to sell all this garbage that I was leaning up against the garage of the farm. So all these messages keep coming up. My wife's in the bedroom putting the daughter to bed. I'm in the basement, and there's smoke all around us, apparently. I don't see anything. We're good. It wouldn't be a live feed if something disastrous wasn't happening around me, right? So Ray phones me up, and he says, I got the deal of the century for you. A sheet of plywood, regular construction grade, spruce, fir, 3/4 inch, what I call junk plywood. It should be around $35, and they're selling for about $100 now, $85, $95 a sheet for a sheet, 4x8 sheet. out of the blue, he phones me up and because I don't use that type of plywood. Now I know anybody that's ever built a plywood aquarium, everybody's got their own ways of doing it. But like somebody mentioned about Dana Allen, he is really the teacher. He is the one that has shown me everything in regards to, from an engineer standpoint, as to why this is important, why this isn't important, and so forth. And he's a very, very detailed oriented and very meticulous with the stuff. And my last big fish room at my old place, which sat there for 21 years, was often referred to as the lab. It took me 2 years to build that room because I was exactly that way, very detailed oriented, very meticulous with the way I built everything. And none of those tanks ever failed until I was tearing everything down. And that's a real test, a claim to fame. Like nobody builds a plywood aquarium that lasts 20 years. It just doesn't happen. But if you take the time and do it properly and use the proper products and stuff, I'm not saying people do it wrong, but more often than not, and anybody will agree with this, I think, more often than not, people generally go into a plywood aquarium because it's cheaper. And to me, I don't do that. I go into a plywood aquarium because it gives me the ability to build a tank to fit the space that I need, or a much larger that I can actually get it in. Because how are you going to get in a gigantic glass aquarium into your basement? You couldn't, right? Unless you're going to bring in the sheets and build it yourself. And the weight and aspects of that. So he phoned me up out of the blue and he found me the price on this plywood. And I thought, it's April Fool's. I'm not going to go get the trailer and sweep it out, drive all the way into the city to go pick this up to find out. It's like, just kidding. But he got me a price of $57 for a sheet of cabinet plywood, 3/4 inch cabinet grade. Like, this is finished, butter smooth cabinet grade plywood. And I was like, I jumped on it right away and went and picked up like 15 sheets or something like that. Enough to build the big tank, which is 12 by 6 by 3, I think. We might be 32. We're not sure, but it might be 3. We're not going to go any higher than that. I have the tank at a height that I could sit in a chair and the tank will kind of be, kind of mid back and above me here. And that's where the window will be. And then you guys get this giant window going in behind me with all the activity. That's always been my envision. That's the tank that I had before at the old place, just nowhere near that size. The one before was 8 by 4 by 3 or 8 by 4 by 32. So this one here, 12 by 6 by 3, it's going to be a big one. And the whole filtration, I'm going to build it high enough off the ground and all the filtration be underneath. And I won't have to roll around on my knees and my arms and like I'm in the military boot camp, trying to do anything. It's going to be lots and lots of space to work with it. The big screen goes down and calls the fire department. Got lots of water. What are we worried about? Taylor got his today too. Has everybody got their shots? I don't know. In Canada, it's just started. It's so funny because I'm 50. I'm going to be 51 this year. And we're watching it and it's like 65, 70 and up and all that sort of stuff. And then they drop it by like 2 years at a time. 2 years at a time. And then out of the blue, I think it was like 2-3 days ago, they said 40 and up if you want to get the AstraZeneca one. I don't follow. We don't have news or anything. So if I may butcher the names, I apologize. And that's the one that's got a lot of things in the media about it that may cause this, may cause that, whatever. Bottom line is I'm in that category of people. I'm very susceptible to pneumonia. I get it. I've had planes emergency land with it and stuff like that. So I'm very, very nervous about it. I'm very, very cautious. Not about getting the shot, about being out there and stuff. So basically almost anything that becomes available, I want it. I'm good. I'm good to go. Tell me which one it is. So that one I was trying to set up, trying to find a place to get it, trying to get an appointment everywhere. But when they dropped it from 2 people to like 20 age groups, the whole province just went crazy and the whole thing's jammed. So I couldn't get anything. So I just said, I'll just wait. It's only about 2 or 3 years away from my age group at the big downtown super clinic, which is where they have the big super freezers, which is where the Moderna and the Pfizer one are that somebody mentioned there. And that's where my parents have gone and everything like that and whatever. So I thought, I'll just wait because that one there, they've got that down slick. Because, the seniors, they just can't handle a lot of that on the phone constantly and trying to book online and stuff. They just want to be able to go and book their appointment, just go stand in line for 10 minutes and get their shot and then they go home. And that system they've got downtown is slick. And I was very fortunate. My ex-wife called me up the other day and she said, they just lowered it to 50, go online. I did it, got it in 2 minutes, done, and my appointment's on the 7th. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'll get the Pfizer one. I don't know. I don't really care if they're any different. It is what it is. So we got all the wood for the big tank, but I don't want to give you guys hopes. I'm thinking, oh, the big tank's going to be started right away. It's not. I still have to buy all the materials to be able to build the stand. And I don't have to worry about the wall around it or anything yet, but I have to build all the other stuff. There's so many more other things that have to be bought to do it. And honestly, I won't even be looking at that until fall. More than likely, that'll probably be my fall project. I'll be able to, by then, the whole room here will be done. And we'll be able to film content on a daily basis in here on random different topics. I can do a terrarium, a vivarium, I can do a build, I can set up a tank, we can talk about a fish species or a plant, we can do a centipede or a bug, or there's all sorts of stuff that we could do in this area. And while doing that one, because each step of the way we want to film that, I want to show you guys why I build them the way I build them. And the whole basement was developed around that spot. So when it happens, it's going to happen. Dragon's Lair is here. Nice to see you. But as I say, we've got the wood, and I know the price is never going to go below that. I remember buying the plywood and the same similar style. I think I used actually the same wood that I bought last time for that tank. And I've been in this place. This is my 6th year, and that tank was 21 years old. So that's almost 30 years ago, almost. And I remember paying $55 a sheet for it then. I remember the normal junk plywood was about $35, $40 a sheet, and then the real high-end plywood, your birch, your maples, your oaks, those sort of things, they were around $55, $65, $70 a sheet. And if you got a deal, dropped it down to about $55, $60 a sheet. So that's what I got it at then. And then the real big cost really is going to be, what do I want to pump it with? And I have a couple of my old pumps from my other big tank, but with everything with this drive for real energy consumption, really low energy consumption stuff, I think I'm going to have to look at the amperage of what amperage that pump is pulling. I have an oldie wacky 5. It's still a very large pump, but I think no matter what, I think I'm going to have to look at a much larger volume pump to be able to move what I'm going to want to move through that tank, because that tank's going to be almost double the size of the other one. And I don't want a still water tank. I'm still looking at somewhat of a highly oxygenated, somewhat fast water river tank is my plan. Oh, strange fish. What is my choice of coating for the inside of said tank? Oh, there's so many things. I don't know the name. I can't remember the name, honestly. I'd have to talk with Dana Allen again because I'm not at that position. But for the better part of, 3 decades now or more, every tank that I built for people and helped people with or recommended to people was a product from a company. I can't think of the name of the company, but the product was called Interseal. Interseal, I think it was 670 HD. It was a company out of Texas. I can't think of the name. I can picture the can. It was a white can with a little red and a blue kind of a symbol on it and stuff like that. I have slides of it in one of my presentations. Prior to that, we did use a product from Pittsburgh Paints called Aquapond. But the problem with the Aquapond one, and this is getting extremely detailed, Arnie, looking at the full analysis of how these things are composed, that one had a fair amount of wax content. It was a much more elasticized product. So in one regard, it had real good attributes, you would think, for building, but it had really poor attributes for adhering the silicone to the glass, which is, in installing that section. And that was always usually the failure point of these tanks a few years in. It didn't matter whether a 180-gallon tank or a 500-gallon tank. It's just that was always tend to be the failure point with those ones. Most of these epoxy-type products are generally used in climates, unlike not here, but if you were in California and you had a swimming pool and your ground doesn't move the same way, other than when an earthquake comes, your ground is still stable, you would have an in-ground concrete swimming pool and you would coat it with these type of products and make it sealed. Basically like building a boat backwards. You want the water to stay in, not out. And the products, the Micron Coatings. Micron Coatings is the name of the company if anybody wants to look. Micron Coatings, Interseal 670 HD or HS. There was two, the HS and HD. One had it came in a white and it came in a black, I think, or a gray. And one you could tint and one you couldn't tint. But you look into the material data sheets and they'll give you all the information you ever need to do. No, I do not build wood tanks for buyers ever. I take hours and hours and hours of doing it. And now with 4 children and a farm and all that stuff, I have no idea how long. But because it's going to be for YouTube and all that stuff, I will make a concerted effort of one step at a time, doing it, and it'll eventually finish. If I had to do it just because I wanted to do it on a casual thing, it would probably take 3 years to do it. So no, I'm never ever doing it for anybody ever again. No. Quiet One 6000 is a slick pump. Yeah, but nowhere near the size I'm going to need. I use a Quiet One 5000 to run water from my 180-gallon RO reservoir to pump water to anywhere I want to put it and stuff like that. So that's by no means. I'm going to need like literally a giant, like almost like a Hayward or something like that, but it's something big. No, the company's not international. It might be. No, it's the company I buy it from is called Micron Coatings. It might be international, but the product is Inter, INTER, Seal, SEAL, 670 HD or HS. So, holy crap, Joey's here. Booze money. Okay, Joey. Today we're not doing that. We are, though. We did talk about it. You and me are going to do it. Joey's asked me. We've talked about it before, where we want to do a live feed together, where it's a little bit more, not necessarily adult, but we want to have some beverages. We want to have some fun, and no strings attached. Just have some fun. So I'm absolutely honored that you're here, man. Thank you very kindly. There's if you want to know about building tanks. There's your guy right there. He wrote the bloody book on it. What else we got here? Big tank, that's done. And isopods, if there's anybody here that follows me for the isopods, yes, all the isopods are in desperate need. Not all, but they're all in desperate need of rehousing. Some of them are in such bad shape. Oh, man, there's so much stuff. But you got to think about it. We're in springtime up here. This isn't Florida where the trees grow year-round and I have access to stuff all the time. Here I don't. Me going to Walmart buying the tubs, one thing. I've got all those cool vents from Sandy. I have to modify them a little bit so the mankai don't get out, which is the babies. I want to change the idea after making some of my different videos that I've put out in regards to my talks and stuff like that. I want to change the depth of the way that I do things. So it's going to modify as to how many I can have in here. So those things. But the real challenge for me for doing the isopods right now, honestly, is leaves. I can't get leaves. Now that the snow's, well, we think the snow's gone. It's 21 today. It's supposed to snow tomorrow again. Joey, you just got hit with snow recently. I know, Zenon, you had snow today. So that's Nova Scotia, and that's near Toronto or Hamilton area. So, we're not out of the thick of it yet. Usually May, I think Mother's Day weekend in May, which is the second Sunday in May, I believe, that is considered as kind of the standard in Canada, at least in the prairies, for the first frost-free days, meaning that it generally won't drop below 0 at night, and those are when you generally start doing your outdoor plantings. Never before Mother's Day. And I see people already going out with their mowers and raking and doing all sorts of stuff. Like, no, you're just hurting your lawn. Just stop doing that. How many people here are chimed in and watching Joey's on his podcast? Show of hands, or just say me in the comments. Just type me. Even if you're not here, if you're not doing other, just type me. I want to know who watched the podcast with Joey and me. Say me. Do it. I'll wait. No, I'm not going to wait. I'm still going to talk. There you go. So a bunch of people did. Have you guys all been watching the other ones? He's had some pretty cool people on there. The one with Tanner was awesome. The one with Big Rich was good. There was a whole bunch of them. Didn't know about it. Oh, Aquariums Unfiltered. If somebody here can want to share the link, I don't know how to do that. I'm on StreamYards. I don't have that kind of skill set. You guys know that. Try alfalfa hay for the isopods. That is a great idea. Do you know that, being a farmer and having access to that stuff? I have bales of alfalfa hay cubes in the garage, and I have bales of alfalfa, not as much alfalfa, more Timothy hay out there. Honestly, I would never even have considered that. Passionate fruit. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to try that. Right now, Google moderator is deleting all links. I don't even know what that means. Biggs has no skill in this stuff. On here, I do it on the StreamYards because somebody showed me how to do it on the StreamYards, and it works. And if I want to have a guest, I'm simple. As you can tell, I know how to add a guest onto StreamYards. I know how to have a conversation with somebody on StreamYards. When I do the live feed on YouTube itself, on the platform, it's super challenging for me. I've had nothing but stress and nothing but troubles. This is stress-free and trouble-free. So that's kind of all my rants. That's all the stuff that's happening. That's all the stuff that's coming up. But bottom line is, what did you guys want to talk about? Is there any questions? I grabbed a couple that popped up as they popped up. But was there anything? Anybody have any specific questions? Lots of you guys checked it out. That's really, really cool. Chevy's here too. Why wake up the green beast if you don't have to? Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, Wally knows about that. See, well, I did that too, Wally, is I go out into the forest around me, and right where I am, there is no forest. I'm literally prairies. There's a mile before I'm going to see trees on my property. But I've gone to other friends and collected leaves. Kyle's a good friend of mine. He has oak trees around him, which are great. And most of the other trees that are around me are all poplar types, and the leaves break down very, very quickly. But when I have somebody that's kind of showing interest that's near me in isopods, I want to set them up and give them all the stuff they're going to need, especially if it's the wintertime. They can't access it. They need everything. And I'm always using different leaves and different things for all my different bioactive enclosures and different things with vivariums and stuff. So you start going through, you get all kind of free and easy when you got lots of it. When you start getting to the end of winter, you're like, okay, you guys get one leaf, and that's it. And that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm kind of getting pretty lean, but I think even though the leaves aren't like you pick them up in the fall, they're nice and clean. You can pick them up, put in big totes and loose, and you can bake them and sterilize them if you want or don't. I don't care. That's your prerogative. Do whatever you got to do. But now going and picking them up after they've gone through the winter, as long as it's dry, they're going to be already in kind of somewhat decomposed already. That's not bad. That's good. But I'm still going to go and sterilize them and clean them a little bit because I don't want to introduce stuff. I have one bin. I don't know if I put it in a video or not, but I have one bin of Persilio scabber koi. Definitely not fancy koi like Wally's got over at Supreme Gecko in his fancy orange koi, which are stunning. But my koi bin, I dumped the container that they came. The culture, when I bought it, came in a little container, and it had kind of a soil mix and whatnot. And I dumped that into the container. And it was a really, really, really bad idea. The animals that came with the isopods are not going to be detrimental to the environment. They're not going to be detrimental to the isopods per se. They will take some of the food away, and they still will produce a waste product. But they're an animal that can quickly become a nuisance, same as if you had them in an aquarium. And the animal I'm talking about is a snail. And I've noticed in that culture, I've had all sorts of little different types of snails. And you get snails in some of your tanks. You get the wrong one. And, sometimes they're decorative. Sometimes they're fun. I think they're all fascinating. But you get the wrong one in a tank, and they can do all sorts of damage. This tank doesn't have them. But the old 160, when I had the other gravel in it, had those Malaysian trumpet snails. Now, some people like them, some people don't. In a planted tank, there's two sides. In a planted tank, people hate them because they do, you do stuff in a planted tank, the plants, they do this. But some people like them because they go into the substrate and they aerate the whole mix and everything like that. So there's pros and cons, but they can explode in population. My fear with trumpet snails in these types of environments for me is if I don't have any fish that are true mollusivores or something that eats snails or crushes up and keeps the population in check, is if the population does explode, that snails can somehow go over the surface, over the box, and into where the water pump is, and then they get into the impeller housing, and then they block the impeller, and I may be at work, I'll be sitting upstairs, I'd be outside, I could be out of town, and this filter shuts down and stops running until you catch it. And that could be by a snail, it could be by a dead snail, it could be a piece of gravel, but my job as an aquarist is to try and regulate as many of those things as I can. And by not introducing Malaysian trumpet snails into these environments, that's good for me. That's good for them. So any more questions or anything like that I'm missing? Biggs is terrible with a question. You guys know it. I need somebody to sit here and tell me, hey, Biggs, this guy asked a question. The pokey ones. And, anyone know how I can prep the gumballs for use in the aquarium? Yeah, just throw them in some boiling water. Once the boiling water for all that stuff, what it's going to do is it's going to saturate it and it's going to break down the cell structure a little bit that the air pockets will go away and then the product will sink. All those botanicals, it doesn't matter what it is, a leaf, a seed pod, anything. I was about to say pine cone, but don't use pine cones. That's resinous. But any of these type of products that you buy that come from hardwoods and stuff, even if you want to take out little twigs and branches, if you boil them, it breaks down the cell structure a little bit that they usually will sink. You can do the same thing with buying any of the driftwoods. You buy driftwood, often you throw it in your tank, pile a bunch of rocks on it, eventually it'll sink. Yeah, you can do the same thing, or you can boil it. Sometimes you can't boil big pieces, but all those little botanicals like the gumballs, yeah. I saw the gumballs all over the ground when I was in speaking, and I think it was North Carolina or something like that. They are everywhere. They're not fun to walk on in bare feet, I can tell you that. What else am I missing? What are you saying, the pokey ones? The pokey ones? The pokey's back there, the big pokey. And the other pokies are out there. Pokies are, I don't think that's what he's talking about. The pokies are the common name for Poecilothera, and that is the really bad spiders from India, the ones that I like, the real bitey ones. Yeah, bake in the oven, 250. Yeah, any of that works fine. Yeah, Wally, Dragon's Lair, no, Wally knows it. Sweet gumballs. Yeah, that's them. That's the same thing. Yeah, just don't boil rocks. Okay, well, that rock thing, if we're going to bring up the rock thing, oh, boy, drives me insane. Now, shout out the individual that's bringing it up. Quingly, am I saying that correctly? I don't know if that's your name or just your screen name. But a lot of people talk about, and I was one for the same thing, that people are always worried about the risk of an explosion of boiling a rock. And I was kind of on the same thing. But I actually had a conversation with an actual geologist. And a geologist said, you're going to put them into a pot and you're going to bring it to a boil. The rocks will not explode. Not going to happen. Unless it's something like a geode or something, very unlikely, right? But a normal average rock we're going to find for aquarium ain't going to happen. And here's why. He says, have you ever had a fire? I mean, like a bonfire, set around a fire? I said, yeah. I said, you ever seen anybody throw a rock in a fire? Did it explode? No, never happens. So it's not going to happen. Would I recommend it? No. I do not like the idea of people doing all these things. If it's a rock, same thing with vinegar. People say, oh, just drip vinegar on it if it fizzes. Yeah, what if your vinegar, acetic acid level in your vinegar is next to nothing? It's like 2%. Do you think it's going to really do anything? But if you went to your home hardware store or pool supply place and got a small bottle of muriatic acid, very, very dangerous stuff. It's meant to be used extremely sparingly. It's a caustic acid in a large body of volume of water, like a swimming pool, to reduce the pH to a stable level for the proper use of chemicals. That's what the real use is. But muriatic acid is very caustic. So if you had something that was coralline or limestone-based or calciferous-based, and you dripped a few drops of muriatic acid, you'd get a reaction. If you drop vinegar on a lot of rocks, even though they may alter your chemistry, you may not get a reaction. But that's directly from a geologist. That's directly from chemists. Online, everybody can be an expert and tell you whatever you need to know, whether they know it or not. I don't know how to pronounce it myself, so really you're good. That's awesome. All right, guys, anything else? We're sitting here just shy of an hour. All I did was really, give you guys kind of an update. Muriatic acid is great for cleaning dried concrete off tools or the wheelbarrow. Muriatic acid is incredible if you use it extremely safely and maybe dilute it with some water, and in a very, very well ventilated area like outside. It is exceptional for removing lime scale off aquariums and aquarium equipment, as long as you rinse it really, really well afterwards. You get an old tank at a garage sale or off Craigslist or whatever, Facebook Marketplace, and it's all dirty. You put a bit of muriatic acid on there, it will clear it up to like new. But caution, it is deadly stuff if you don't use it properly. Be very, very careful. Thank you very much, Wally. Thank you for joining me. Anybody got any questions at all? Normally, I think next time when I do this, I'll come live a little bit more often. It's just been so hectic as of late. And I do miss hanging out with some people. I want to do them at some different times, different days, so I kind of spread it out a little bit to get to everybody. But I had so many notes, and literally Biggs just ranted on his notes about what's happening and what's coming up for basically an hour, and I only answered a couple of questions. So basically, don't drink it. Yes, that would be true. And again, thank you, my friends. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Jesse. I believe it was Jesse. Apologize. I'm horrible with names until it's somebody I talk with daily. Where is it? Where is it? Booze money. Jim Sheasley. I recognize the name, Jim. Jim, you're a big follower of OFR as well, and Big Rich and Josh, I believe. I see when I'm in the live feeds, I think I recognize your name there. So I'm honored to have you here. I'm honored to have each and one of you here with me, my friends. Thank you very much for joining me. And if nobody has any last-minute questions, I think we are going to call it a day. Well, it was wonderful. As always, my friends, stay safe. Next video is on Sunday. Following video on Wednesday. 2 every week. Till next time, take care.